I sing a song of the saints of God, patient and brave and true. The saints of God are just folk like me, and I mean, God helping to be one too. Amen.
Amen.
Hello. Good morning, saints. Today we are celebrating All Saints' Day, which is always November 1st, and we've transferred it to the Sunday following, which has confused several people and given Barbara more work than she ever had in her life. So thank you. All Saints' Day, the day after All Hallows' Eve, Halloween. Interesting that Halloween is a big deal in our nation and economy, and All Saints' Day doesn't even come close. It's one of those things that make me go, In the Episcopal Church, All Saints' Day is one of 7 principal feast days. Quiz. Who can name 7 principal feast days? Easter. Christmas. Epiphany.
Sandy Claus.
Good. Go, Nancy.
St. Luke's Day.
Here it is. You almost got them all.
All Saints Day.
Nope. Trinity and Ascension.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we don't really do this. Anyway, the answer sheet is in the prayer book on page 15 if you ever want to study. So you all did very well. And now you may relax. But I've always loved All Saints' Day, I think because it emphasizes the good in the world and the good in each of us. That even in our brokenness, the light of God shines. These are indeed wicked days, more than I have ever known, but certainly not as evil as many other times in history. There is always good, there is always not good. Power lifting up, power tearing down. In the brief reading from the book of Daniel this morning, Daniel, the noble Jew exiled in Babylon, had a dream in the year 553 BC. It was more of a prophetic nightmare. Basically, there were 4 nations constantly at war, and the Jewish people were always getting defeated, always getting exiled, always getting enslaved. Pretty rotten days. But Daniel believed that as God had saved his life, the same God would win out over all other powers, all other kings, even Alexander the Great. That's a lot of faith in the midst of nightmares, nightmares based on reality. Now, fast forward about 600 years to the writings in Hebrews and in Luke, writings about Jesus. Hebrews again speaks of the power of God above all other powers as evidenced in the raising of Christ from the dead. The power of the resurrection, which the writer says we can understand with the eyes of our hearts enlightened. Eyes of our hearts. What a magical thought. As the Eucharistic prayer says, open our eyes to see your hand at work in the world about us. Lift up our hearts. And so we come to Luke, in the Sermon on the Plain. Jesus looked up at his followers and said, blessed are you. Blessed are you. Jesus, always with the eyes of his heart enlightened, sees the hope in and for all who suffer, all who are in need, all who are grieving, Blessed are you, loved and favored are you by God. A different power, a power which heals, a power which feeds, a power which rejoices in who we are. The t-shirt used to read, "Too blessed to be stressed." Sadly, we are on the brink of too stressed to be blessed. So what can we, as God's blessed people, do and be? I came across two amazing stories this week, both involving the eyes of the heart. One was about a 51-year-old man, his name was Jay Blade, who overcame an extreme visual impairment and determined how to read at the age of 51. He wanted to be able to read to his children and grandchildren, and he did. The second Eyes of the Heart story was about a man named Jay Blake, whom I ran across while I was looking up Jay Blake. Jay Blake lost his physical eyesight in a work explosion when he was 31. His lifelong dream had been to be a race car driver. And as he faced this near-death accident, he became clear that he could still work on race cars, and he could encourage others to follow their dreams. And he founded the Follow Your Dream program to inspire many others who have experienced major barriers in their various life journeys. With the eyes of our hearts, we can do the amazing work and the just ordinary work of being God's saints in this world. Fast forward 2,500 years to this week, 2022, election madness. So I felt so stuck here as I was writing about what to say that I went and cleaned out the kitty litter box. I was pretty desperate. And yet I'm not. I've been listening with the eyes of my heart this week as well. I've been listening with the ears of my heart this week as well as my heart. Ears of mine. And one clear song I heard was from Bob Marley. Saint Bob, I like to call him. The song is, "Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight." 1973. Get up, stand up. That is the mantra, the chant I offer you for this week. Let us, as Daniel, as Paul, as Jesus, as Bob, stand up for the good, stand up for the truth, and stand up for the love of God. Amen.
Amen.